Hi everyone, my name is Jodian and welcome to Craft Therapy by Crepe Creations. Today we will be unboxing our rose floral kit and we will be making a rose. To get started, you will need a glue gun, a pair of scissors, and optionally our wire cutters and glue. Let's get started. In our kit, we have some flower wires, we have our picture instructions that consist of all the instructions that you need to make our flowers. We have our materials to make 2 roses. And we also have a list of all the items that you would need, what's not included in the kit and what's included. And as I said before, you will need your glue gun and a pair of scissors, but the wire cutters and the glue is optional. Now in our kit we also have our foam balls, we have smaller wires to make our leaves, we have our crepe paper. So let's set these one side and begin to cut our flowers. So here we have our patterns. We have our patterns for the petal. We have our patterns for the sepals and our leaf pattern. So I am going to get started by cutting our petals and you will cut 21 of these. So it's our paper and I am going to be folding it so that we can really get the most from our crepe paper. So I like to fold like this, and these cuts are 12 inches long, so you will always be able to fold them like this. And just give it a little stretch because crepe paper has a lot of weight, paper weight, so you can stretch it a very far way. And we can see how our petals line up. If it doesn't, you can just give it a little more stretch. And we can get a couple petals from this batch. So I'm going to get started and cutting my petals. And you want to cut along the grain. So all these lines that run here, this is the grain. So our petals or our template will show the direction that we should cut. And be sure to use sharp scissors because if you don't use a sharp scissors, then your edges will appear a bit jagged and it may not come out that neat. And you want to ensure that your petals are neat so that it looks realistic and clean. So we have 9 petals here, so let's cut some more. And again, we will do the same thing. We have our full length, that's around 12 inches long. And we're just going to fold it. Give it a little stretch. And fold again. So I'm going to cut the sepals, and that's with this pattern here, and we're going to cut 5 of these. And we have 5 sepals here with some extra. So now we're going to be cutting our leaves. Let's just get these scrap papers out of the way. So we'll be making 2 leaves, so I won't cut a lot of green paper to do this. I'll cut about this length here. I will be cutting this in 2 to make 2 leaves. Now we cut our leaves this way. However, we're now going to go diagonally. When we make this diagonal cut, then we're going to be turning it like this, just to give us the visual of the leaves with the veins running diagonally. So we're going to glue these together a bit later, so let's cut the second one.
Perfect.
So we have diagonally cut. So we have all our patterns cut. So we're going to get our floral stem, and we're going to be attaching our foam balls just to make the foundation of our flower so that it stays firm and in place. Now to make this stick firm in place, we're going to use our floral wire and make a hole in our ball like this, then remove it, and we're going to add some glue at the tip of our floral wire just for it to stay in place. Let me add some glue. Get some glue on that, and we're going to just firmly stick it in place. And this shouldn't take long to dry. So while that is waiting, we're going to mold our petals. And to do that, we're just going to take a petal. You're going to get your scissors, hold it like this, and we're going to gently but firmly bring it along like this. And you're going to end up with your petals in a curved way. After we do that, we're going to cup it. So we're going to use our finger or thumbs, and we're going to cup it like this. So we're going to do this to all our petals. Okay, so now that we've finished curling our petals, we can just do a gentle run through with the sepals as well. Okay, so we're going to get our leaves out of the way. So what we're going to do, we are going to be getting the 2 diagonal pieces, and we want to ensure that this edge, it runs diagonally this way and diagonally this way as well. So you want to see like a V shape of the grains running together. Like this. So we're going to glue these together, and then we're going to cut our leaf. But using our template when we glue this together. So let's glue our diagonal pieces together. So we're going to use our glue gun, and we're going to run a line as close to the edge as possible. Then we're going to glue the second piece together. So don't worry if it doesn't line up perfectly, like mine didn't, but no worries, because when we glue our piece together and then we put our template over it, you see that you do have some space around it that you can cut your petals out perfectly. So let's do the second one, and then we cut. Here we go. So I'm going to proceed to use my leaf template and then cut out my leaf. There. And we have our second leaf. So let's just put these on the side. Let me just get these extra papers out of the way. And now we are ready to put our rows together. We're going to start with our centerpiece, and we are going to, with our first petal, we're just going to line it up nice like this, and I'm just going to glue this in place like that. And I do have a more detailed video on my YouTube channel where I do go into deeper detail how I glue and how I add this together. So feel free to check that out, and the link should be available with the tutorial. So now we have this glue together, we're going to do a nice wrap around just for it to close up like this. And remember, the crepe paper stretches a lot, so you don't want to stretch it out too much, but you want to be able to ensure that when you stretch it around like this, you're not seeing any of the foam. And you want to join this piece together like this, just so that we wrap it tightly and there is no space, or there's no white showing. So I'm going to glue along here and wrap that tightly. So it should look like this. And it may look a little bent right now, but don't worry about that, because when we do add the rest of our petals, then everything will fall perfectly into place. So I'm going to add our next petals across like this and do the same thing, but not all the way around too much. So see, we have the center of our rose coming together nicely. Just want to ensure that everything under the bottom is laying flat because you want to maintain that curved bottom of the rose. So we're going to start adding the next layer, and we're going to do a bit of across each other. So where these two meet, I'm just going to put my petal here and still meeting from the base. And come around, just like this. You can just pick off any loose strings because that does happen a lot. So I like my rose to have curly petals. So what I'm going to do here is the skewer that's a part of the kit. I'm just going to use it to give my petals a little curve at the edges like this. To give it a nice little curve, just to add some texture to my rose and to give it a little flair. So it looks like this. See, the edges are nicely curled. And I like to add that as I go along so that I can get an idea of how I want the rose to look. And also, sometimes you get the inner petals better than when you're finished. So I'm going to add my next pair of petals across from each other. So we have our rose coming together nicely. You can see the center is forming. And again, I'm just going to give these a little curl with my skewer. So we have our center all nice and curled up, coming together. So we're going to start adding our next set of petals, and we're going to go 5 petals around. So for my first petal, I'm going to glue only one side because when I finish this layer, I want the last petal that I'm going to add to overlap. So I'm leaving right here so I can glue my last petal later. So I have right here that I'm going to glue my last petal onto, and I'll just continue going from this side and go around. Now I am left-handed, so it may be easier for you the other way around, but anything that's comfortable for you, you can work with that. But just know that you always leave one side open, and then you glue on the closed side so that the last petal that you add can be overlapped onto under this one and glued down. Just gonna start adding my next set of petals, overlapping, and you want to overlap them because it does gives it a more realistic look. But if it's too much for you, you can just glue them on top of each other. I prefer to overlap them. So I'm going to add my 5th petal on this layer, and like I said, it will overlap like this. So you can see where my first petal will close on top of it. Give this a little extra stretch. I'm going to let it lay right here. When I glue that, then I'm going to add some glue here and close that petal and finish off this layer. So we have our rose looking like this so far, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my skewer and just curl the edges of this layer a bit, just so I have it looking all nice. So we have our rose looking like this now. It's coming out really nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the last layer. So we're going to go ahead and add our last layer. And again, remember, we're only going to do one side. We've added 3 petals so far on our last layer, and this is what it looks like so far. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more. So for this final layer, we're going to add 6 petals instead of 5 because it's wider, so we need more for the base just to fill out the space. Just lift up the last petal that we have overlapping and just place that right there. And then we're going to close it up. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to curl my petals on my final layer. There we have our rose. So now we're going to add our sepals, and we will need 5 of them. So we're going to glue halfway through. So we're going to glue at the bottom and just ensure that we line it up nicely, like this. Just add the rest of our sepals all the way around. This is how it looks so far. So now we have our sepals attached to our rose. So we're going to set our rose one side, and we're going to attach these stems to our leaves so that we can attach them to our rose. On our rose, before we proceed with it, on our rose, we're going to add some floral tape just to kind of cover this part right here. And we have floral tape in our kit, so we can just tear a piece. To activate the glue on our floral tape, we need to stretch it a bit and just run our fingers along it, and the heat from our fingers will activate the glue. And you can tell because it gets really sticky. So we're going to just secure and just tape it down like this. We can get some more tape and just fill out the stem if we want to have our stem in a nice uniform color. I'm just going to go ahead and add some more just to fill it out. And again, just run your fingers along the tape, activating the glue, making it all nice and sticky. You can just continue to run your fingers against it just to continue activating that glue so that it stays in place. And any extra tape, you can just twist it back up. And just kind of really rub your fingers into it so that it seals it. So here we have our rose covered in our floral tape. So now we're going to go ahead and attach the stems to our leaves and then attach them to our flower. So I'm going to get 2 stems here. We want to ensure that it lines up nicely. So it doesn't always have to line up with the center. It depends on how straight your diagonal line was cut. But it doesn't matter because we just want the stem to appear in the middle as much as possible. So here, what I like to do, I like to use my glue here instead of the glue gun because these are paper covered floral wires and paper sticks better to paper than the glue gun does because the glue kind of breaks away and then it can get detached. So I like to use glue so that I can just secure it in place nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some glue to my paper here, and then I'm just gonna like run my glue in here, and then I stick it to my vessel. When you do this, you have to hold it in place for a while until the glue dries. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this one side until the glue dries for a bit. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. You want the glue to come all the way down so that it covers the paper as well. I'm just going to add a bit more down here. And then I bend it so that I can just leave it to dry. So now our glue is dry, so I'm just going to unbend these. So we have our leaf with our stem. Go ahead and unbend these. So I'm going to glue these together and then attach them to my rose. So you can attach your leaves however you want, but if you're gonna put them together, then it's best to glue them together so that they stay in place, and then attach them to your rose. If you find that the stem is too long, then you can always use your wire cutter and clip them a bit. But I'm going to leave these this length because the longer that the stems are, the better it holds to your rose. Go ahead and tear off the extra. So we have our petals glued together, and then when we attach them, we're going to separate them. So we're going to get our rose and we're going to find a nice area. I like when they're close up, so it gives it that nice look. You can just adjust it however you want. And then I'm going to attach. And then I'm going to attach right here. I'm just going to add an additional layer just to ensure that it's secured, but I'm going to do it and bring it down a bit longer. Go ahead and just spread these out a bit. Here we have our lovely rose. You can go ahead and you can cut off some of the stems if you like, or you can just leave it as is, but it is completely customizable and